Title: Shadows Between Sisters. Characters: Lena, the older sister, engaged to Daniel. Maya, the younger sister, rebellious and impulsive. Daniel, a charming but secretive man. Lena had always been the responsible one, the straight-A student, the dependable daughter, the careful planner. Maya, on the other hand, burned through life like wildfire, leaving ash in her wake. They hadn't been close since high school, but Lena insisted Maya come home for the engagement party. Maya arrived late, as always, wearing a crimson dress that clung too tightly for a family event. Daniel greeted her with a frozen smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Lena didn't notice. She was too busy playing hostess, showing off the diamond ring, laughing in that slightly too loud way she had when she was nervous. Later that night, while Lena helped their mother clean up, Maya found herself alone on the porch with Daniel. "You didn't tell her," Maya whispered, arms crossed over her stomach. Daniel looked away. "There's nothing to tell. She deserves to know," Maya said. "I'm pregnant, Daniel." His jaw tightened. It was one mistake. A stupid night. We can't destroy everything over it. Maya's eyes filled with tears, but she blinked them away. "It wasn't just a night to me." The silence between them was thick, heavy with guilt, fear, and something like regret. Daniel opened his mouth to speak, but the screen door creaked open. Lena stepped outside, smiling at first, then freezing when she saw their faces, the silence, the tension, the look in Maya's eyes. "What's going on?" she asked, her voice steady, but her hands trembling. Maya looked at Daniel, then back at her sister. Her lips parted, ready to speak the truth. Then she paused. "Nothing," Maya said. "Just talking." But the truth was already in the air, buzzing like static. The storm wasn't coming. It was already here. Lena didn't sleep that night. She lay beside Daniel, his back turned to her, the same way it had been for the past few weeks. She'd told herself it was just stress, work, wedding planning. But tonight, after seeing the way he and Maya had looked at each other, she couldn't lie to herself anymore. By morning, Lena had made up her mind. Downstairs, Maya sat at the kitchen table, nursing a coffee and pretending to scroll through her phone. Lena walked in silently, her hair tied back, no makeup, just her bare face and something hard behind her eyes. "We need to talk," Lena said. Maya looked up slowly. "Okay, I want the truth." Maya hesitated. Then, softly, "Do you really want it?" Lena nodded once. Maya took a deep breath, then exhaled. "It happened once. A few months ago. You two had just fought. He came by my apartment. He said you didn't understand him. I was drunk. We both were. And now you're pregnant." "Yes." Lena sat down, gripping the edge of the table. Her knuckles were white. "Were you going to tell me before the wedding?" "I didn't know how. I didn't mean to fall for him, Lena. I didn't mean any of this." "But you did fall for him." Maya didn't answer. That was enough. Later that day, Daniel returned from running errands, unaware of the storm that had already broken in his absence. Lena was waiting for him in the living room. Her engagement ring sat on the coffee table like a quiet accusation. "I know," she said. He opened his mouth, closed it again. For once, Daniel had no words. "I'm not going to marry you," Lena continued, her voice calm. "But I'm not going to fight for you either. You made your choice." "I didn't choose anything," Daniel said, stepping forward. "It was a mistake. I love you. You don't betray someone you love." She paused. "You can figure things out with Maya, or not. I don't care anymore." She walked past him, grabbed her coat, and left the house. Maya stood in the hallway, one hand resting lightly on her stomach. Daniel looked at her, silent. She finally asked, "Do you want this, me the baby?" Daniel swallowed. "I don't know." That was the most honest thing he'd said in weeks. Epilogue: 6 months later. Lena moved to a small apartment across the city. She started painting again, something she hadn't done in years. She didn't hear much from Maya, except for a single postcard. "It's a girl. Her name is Alara. I understand if you never want to see us. I just wanted you to know she exists, and she's beautiful. Maya." Lena stared at the card for a long time. Then she placed it in a drawer, next to her old engagement ring. Some things aren't forgiven, but some things aren't forgotten either. 3 years later, Lena stood at the edge of the gallery, sipping wine from a paper cup. The place was full of strangers admiring her art, textured canvases layered with reds, blacks, and hints of gold. Her work had gained quiet recognition in the city. She was finally building a name for herself, not as someone's fiancée, not as someone's sister, just Lena. Then she saw the small child. A girl in a navy coat with soft black curls, standing in front of one of Lena's older pieces, the one painted in the weeks after everything collapsed. The piece was called Fracture, though no one had ever asked why. The little girl tilted her head, studying it like she understood. A voice behind Lena froze her in place. She likes the colors. Lena turned slowly. Maya stood there, older, more tired, but steadier somehow. She held a small backpack in one hand, nervously twisting the strap. I didn't know you'd be here, Lena said, her voice even. I saw your name on the flyer. I wasn't sure if I should come. Maya hesitated. But Alara, she wanted to see where Auntie Lena paints. Lena blinked. She knows about me? She always has. They stood in silence for a long moment. Alara wandered over, holding a tiny notebook. Her eyes lit up when she saw Maya. Mommy, is this the painter? Maya smiled. Yes, baby. This is Lena. The girl looked up. Your art makes my tummy feel weird. Like happy and sad together. Lena laughed softly, her first real laugh in months. That's the best compliment I've ever had. Alara handed her the notebook shyly. Inside was a crayon drawing. 3 stick figures holding hands. One tall, one smaller, and one in the middle with curls. Lena's voice caught. Is this? Maya nodded. She said that's her wish picture. Lena didn't say anything. She crouched down and gave Alara the gentlest smile. I think your wish might come true. Over the next few months, Lena visited sometimes. Just small things. Lunch, a park, a birthday cake with too many sprinkles. The wounds hadn't disappeared, but they were healing, quietly, like cracks in stone slowly smoothed by rain. And maybe, one day, the 3 of them would become something new. Not what they were, but something honest. Something whole. 1 month later, Lena sat at the kitchen table in Maya's apartment, sipping chamomile tea while Alara played with blocks on the floor. It had become a kind of ritual. Friday afternoons, just the 3 of them. Quiet, simple. Maya emerged from the bedroom, holding a faded photograph. I found this yesterday while cleaning, she said softly, setting it on the table between them. It was a picture of the 3 of them, Lena, Maya, and Daniel, taken at a summer barbecue years ago. Before the betrayal. Before everything. Lena stared at the photo. I almost forgot what it felt like to trust him. Maya nodded. I still wonder if he ever really loved either of us, or just loved being wanted. There was a pause. Not hostile, but honest. I saw him last week, Maya added. Lena looked up, sharp. What? He asked to meet. Said he wanted to make things right. Maya shook her head. He hasn't changed. Still charming. Still empty. Lena's voice was quiet. Did you tell Alara? No. She barely remembers him. And that's probably a blessing. Later that night, Lena walked home through the chilly dusk, mind buzzing. The city lights blurred slightly in her vision. Was it anger? Sadness? Some ache that never really left? When she got home, a letter was waiting in her mailbox. No return address. Inside was a handwritten note. Lena, I've lost so much. But the biggest thing I lost was the version of myself I only ever was with you. You don't have to forgive me. I just want you to know that I see it now. What I broke. I hope you're happy. I hope she is too. Daniel. Lena stared at the paper for a long time. Then, calmly, she tore it in half. And then into quarters. And then again, until it was just paper confetti in her hands. The next morning, Lena stood in her studio before a blank canvas. She dipped her brush into a deep, midnight blue. Then red. Then gold. A single stroke across the canvas. And then another. And another. Not to paint the past, but to paint what comes after. 10 years later. My name is Alara. I'm 12. I've been told I ask too many questions. I also draw too much. But Aunt Lena says that's not a real thing. She says too much art is like saying too much truth. She gets me. She always has. Journal entry, October 3rd. Today in class, we had to write about family. Most kids wrote about their moms and dads. I wrote about my mom and my aunt, and how they weren't always sisters. I mean, they were, but not in the way people expect. There was this big thing that happened before I was born. Something about love and betrayal, and a man who used to be important but isn't anymore. I asked Mom once if she still hated Aunt Lena. She said, hate's not the word. We grew through the worst thing that could have happened. That makes it something deeper. That confused me. So I asked Aunt Lena. She said, forgiveness isn't forgetting, Alara. It's choosing not to carry the fire forever. I like that. Journal entry, October 9th. I visited Aunt Lena's new studio today. There was this huge canvas in the middle of the room, almost taller than me. She said it's called Thread. It's about the things that connect us, she said, even when we think they're broken. I asked if I could help her paint the last line. She handed me the brush. I dipped it in gold. We painted it together. That night, the three of them sat on the old balcony in Maya's apartment. Alara's head rested on her mother's shoulder, a blanket wrapped around her. Lena sat across from them with a mug of tea, sketchbook in her lap. There were no secrets left. No more words unspoken. Just three women, one family, and a story they were still writing. Not with shame or sorrow, but with courage. With light.